Hey everyone, and welcome to another. Today's question: my husband threatens to hurt me. What should I do? Wow. Stay tuned as we unbox the answer to this very touchy question. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dr. Robert Davis. I'm so glad that you've joined us. Do me a favor before we get started. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, as well as go down through our description so you can find different ways that you can partner with Unboxed and that you can support what we're doing. Wow. So got a very serious question here today that comes to us. As you know, at Unboxed, we seek to help you to unbox the power and the potential of all relationships, workplace, home, church, extended family, community, whatever relationship you're in. We try to help folk to improve those relationships. So got a question today that's come. And if you have a question, make sure that you email us. The email is on the screen, your question, and we will answer it on the air. Here's a question that comes from Shannon. Shannon asks, my husband and I have been married for 4 years, and he has never put his hands on me. That's good. However, when he gets mad, he says things like, if you don't stop, I'm going to hurt you, or don't make me slap you, or things like that. I know my husband has anger issues, but I don't think he will do anything more than just blow off steam. But what should I do? All right, let me start off by saying this right here to you, Shannon. The graveyard is full of women whose husbands never put hands on them until they put their hands on them. I'm going to say that one more time. The graveyard is full of women whose husbands never put their hands on them until they put their hands on them. When people make threats, you take threats serious. When people make threats, when they're angry in the heat of the moment, you take threats serious. I want to be clear about that, Shannon. That's very important to understand. If a person tells you who they are or what they plan to do, then believe them. If they tell you who they are or what they plan to do, believe them. So take threats very serious. Now, I do understand, and I'm one of these people that really holds tight to the sanctity of marriage and trying to do everything to salvage and save the marriage. And it seems as if, as you said, he's never put his hands on you, but nevertheless, he makes these threats when he's angry. And you said he does struggle with certain anger issues. So I'm going to share 3 things with you today that I hope will help in your relationship. And the first is to get professional help now. Let me say that again. Get professional help now. And emailing a question to me is a good place to start, but this is not professional help. Get professional help, which what means I want you to get in touch with a counselor, a therapist, a licensed therapist, a licensed counselor in your area who deals with these type of relationship issues. And of course, I'm biased, so I encourage people to look for a therapist that understands and subscribes to family systems to really get you to understand what's going on. And I'm gonna say this, sometimes we go to counseling, but our spouse won't go with us. So if your husband won't go with you, then go by yourself. And the next couple of points I want to bring out is really going to talk about, or the next point I bring out is really going to explain why that's important, that if he won't go with you, go by yourself. And one of the reasons why this is important, if our spouse doesn't go with us, that we go by ourselves, is that we have to understand that we marry at our level of emotional maturity. Let me say that again. We marry at our level of emotional maturity. And so that means then that when we marry someone, that person we marry is a mirror of us. This whole idea about, I'm here and they're there, I'm so much better. No, we marry at our level of emotional maturity. That is a fact. So when someone has these issues, the first thing we have to do is start really examining and looking at ourselves and trying to figure out, what's going on with us. Rather than trying to focus on the other person, we really need to say, okay, what is going on with us? When someone is threatening or someone starts to threaten you, It's because of something called emotional fusion. Very simple way to understand this. And that is when individuals are not emotionally mature, they get too enamored and too caught up with other people rather than spending their energy and focus on bettering themselves. And so the more a person gets caught up with someone, one of the ways that they try to manage them and to manage the relationship. And I didn't use the word control. I used the word manage. The way they try to manage the other person or manage the relationship is by managing the other person. So as your husband gets caught up emotionally, what he's trying to do is he is trying to regulate the situation by managing you. And that's just common. We all do it. Some people use violent threats. Some people use violence. Some people use coercion. Some people use, passive aggressive tactics. Hey, there's a million and one different ways that people do it, but it happens a lot. So when someone starts threatening, they are actually trying to manage their emotional fusion. They're over their head in this relationship. And so as you think about that and you understand that reality, I want you to do something. I want you to take ownership of your mess. Listen closely. That's number 2. Take ownership of your mess. Sometime when someone goes off on the deep end and they begin to act crazy, we can become so focused on their actions that we can't see the part that we're playing in the relationship dynamics. That's why I told you before, we marry at our own level of emotional maturity. So one of the questions that we have to ask ourselves is, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I want to, as I talk about that, I want to share with you something called the concept of reciprocity. And that is basically that relationships feed off of each other. So he does one thing and you do another thing. There's kind of like this dance that goes on in the relationship. And the $1 million question that a lot of people don't have the strength to be able to do is to ask that question, what part am I playing in this dance? What part am I playing in this dance? To be able to really hold the mirror up and to look at self can be very difficult. So the first thing I share with you is, number 1, get professional help. Number 2, take ownership of your mess. You may want to explore ways you are seeking to manage him just like he's trying to manage you. So we know how he's trying to manage you because, again, that's the big one, the threats. If you don't do this, you don't do the other, I'll do this. That's how he's trying to manage you, is through threats. And I want you to step back for a second. We've identified his tactics. I want you to begin to think about what are the tactics that you may be using in order to try to control him. It may be withholding sex. It may be through nagging. It may be through, being cold and distant from him, not speaking, any of those things, but really think through, what am I doing to try to manage him the same way he's trying to manage me? Again, take ownership of your own mess, knowing that we married our own level of emotional maturity. So now I'm going to be focused on, what am I doing? And then the last thing that I want to share with you is that in relationships like this, you have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. And one of the boundaries that I strongly recommend in situations like this, and if you make a statement, it's not a threat, but when you make a statement, you have to follow through with your word. And so one of the things that I really do recommend in situations like this is to make it very clear. And I don't recommend that these statements are made during times of tension. I think they should be made during times of calm, which is this right here. I do not like when you threaten me when we're having a disagreement or an argument. I feel scared when you do that. I am nervous and worried when you do that. Now, of course, the human reaction is going to be, oh, it's nothing to it. I'm just blowing off steam. I never put my hands on you. I never hurt you. You my baby. You my boo. No. I know what you're saying right now. When you're angry, this is not the way you come across. And I feel scared. And the next time I am threatened, I will leave. Now, notice in that statement there, I never once used the you. It was only I. The next time I am threatened, I will leave. And I know I don't have time to get too much into it because I don't want to hold you too long tonight. But that's a very important framing. The next time I am threatened, I will leave. Now, you can't make a threat unless you're prepared to really follow through with it, or it really loses its impact. The next time I am threatened, I will leave. So let me recap those 3 points very quickly. I want to ask my assistant to put them back up on the screen. Number 1, get professional help now. Number 2, take ownership of your mess. What part are you playing? How is your emotional immaturity showing him? How is your attempt to try to control him? Like he's trying to control you with the threats. How are you trying to control him? And then number 3, set boundaries. Set those healthy boundaries. Number 1 is the most important, to be honest with you. You got to get some help. This is serious stuff. And I don't want to read about you in the newspaper, see you on the news, or hear somebody say, hey, Shannon got killed. We don't know what happened. Her husband snapped on her. And let's nip that in the bud. All right. Listen, I'm so glad that you chose to stick with us today. Again, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. If you're following us on YouTube, please make sure that you hit the notification button so that you can know the upcoming things. And if you want to learn more about what UnBoxed does in the community, check out our website. It's right here on your screen, as well as if you would like to find out ways to partner with us, then of course, I want to encourage you to go into the description and click on one of the links and see a way that you can partner with UnBoxed. So glad that you chose to be with us. Tomorrow night is the last night of our book club. So please make sure that you come on out. It's the last night of our book club. The book is Season with Grace Unboxed. Season with Grace, God's Recipe for Healthy Family Communication. Until tomorrow evening, I look forward to seeing each of you. Have a great night.
Season with Grace Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.